Most people think you need hundreds of euros to truly experience Rome. They imagine expensive hotels, overpriced restaurants, and long taxi rides eating away at their budget before they've even seen the Colosseum. But today, we're putting that myth to the test. We're exploring one of Europe's most iconic cities with just 50 euros. Every coffee, every meal, every attraction, every ride, all counted. By the end of this journey, you'll know exactly how to experience Rome without emptying your wallet. Rome isn't just a city. It's an open-air museum where every street tells a story that's older than most countries. Around one corner, you'll find an ancient Roman ruin. Around the next, a tiny family cafe that's been serving locals for generations. It's no surprise that more than 30 million visitors come here every year, but many leave believing one thing: Rome is expensive. And honestly, if you follow the typical tourist route, they're absolutely right. Breakfast beside the Pantheon? 15 euros. A taxi from the airport? More than 50 euros. Lunch beside the Trevi Fountain? Another 25 euros. Before lunchtime, your wallet is already begging for mercy. But here's the secret: Rome itself isn't expensive. Tourist mistakes are. Today, we're skipping overpriced attractions, avoiding tourist traps, and exploring Rome the way locals do. Let's see just how far 50 euros can really take us. Our journey begins at Fiumicino Airport. The moment you step outside, you'll notice something: a long line of taxis. Convenient? Absolutely. Budget-friendly? Not even close. The fixed taxi fare into central Rome is around 55 euros. That's already more than our entire daily budget. Instead, follow the signs for airport buses. Companies like TerraVision, SIT Bus Shuttle, and TAM regularly connect the airport with Roma Termini station. If you book online in advance, tickets usually cost between 6 euros and 7 euros. It takes a little longer than a taxi, but that extra 20 minutes saves nearly 50 euros. And that's exactly the mindset for today. Don't ask what's fastest, ask what's smartest. As the bus rolls into the city, Rome slowly reveals itself. Orange rooftops stretch toward the horizon. Church domes rise above the skyline. Scooters weave through narrow streets. And suddenly, you're no longer watching postcards. You're inside one. Current total, 6 euros and 50 cents. Most tourists make the same mistake. They sit down at the first cafe near a famous landmark. The menu is translated into 6 languages. Someone outside is inviting people inside. And somehow, a simple breakfast costs nearly 18 euros. Locals would never do this. Instead, walk just 3 or 4 streets away. Find a neighborhood cafe where Italians are standing at the counter. Order what they order: a fresh cornetto. Think of it as Italy's answer to the croissant. Light, flaky, freshly baked. Pair it with a classic Italian espresso. Total cost? Usually between 2 euros and 50 cents and 3 euros and 50 cents. The coffee arrives in seconds. No giant takeaway cups, no fancy syrups, just rich, bold espresso served exactly as Romans have enjoyed it for decades. Sometimes, the best travel experiences aren't expensive. They're simply authentic. Breakfast cornetto, 1 euro 80 cents. Espresso, 1 euro 20 cents. Total, 3 euros. Running budget, 9 euros 50 cents. Here's one of Rome's greatest secrets. The city's best attraction is completely free: walking. Forget expensive hop-on, hop-off buses. Forget overpriced guided tours. Rome is built for wandering. From Roma Termini, it's about a 30-minute walk to the historic center. Along the way, every corner offers another surprise: a hidden church, a tiny fountain, a quiet piazza where locals sip coffee without rushing. Eventually, you'll arrive at the Trevi Fountain. Despite the crowds, it still feels magical. Legend says throwing 1 coin guarantees your return to Rome. Whether that's true or not, we'll leave up to fate. Just a few minutes away stands the Pantheon, nearly 2,000 years old. Still standing, still breathtaking, and incredibly, entry to the main space is now ticketed for most visitors. But simply standing outside, admiring its architecture and the surrounding piazza costs nothing, and nearby churches and public squares offer just as much atmosphere. The beauty of Rome isn't hidden behind ticket booths. It's waiting around almost every corner, and that's exactly why walking here feels less like transportation and more like time travel. Current spending, 9 euros and 50 cents. Budget remaining, 40 euros and 50 cents. At this point, we've seen some of Rome's most iconic landmarks. Spent less than 10 euros, and the best meal of the day is still ahead. Because just a few streets from the tourist crowds, there's a tiny family-run trattoria serving authentic Roman pasta for less than the price of a fast food meal. And that's where we're heading next. Rome has one rule when it comes to food. The further you walk from the famous landmarks, the better and cheaper it becomes. Just 10 minutes away from the crowds surrounding the Pantheon, the atmosphere changes completely. Tourist menus disappear, English signs become rare. Instead, handwritten chalkboards list today's specials, and families gather around tables that have probably been there for decades. This is where you'll find the Rome most visitors never experience. One small trattoria catches your eye. Nothing flashy, no one trying to pull you inside, just locals over lunch. That's always a good sign. The menu is simple. Carbonara, cacio e pepe, amatriciana, 3 dishes that define Roman cuisine. If it's your first visit, order the carbonara, not the cream-heavy version served around the world. The real Roman carbonara is made with eggs, pecorino romano cheese, black pepper, and crispy guanciale. Rich, silky, simple, exactly as it's been made for generations. The plate arrives, steam rises into the afternoon air. One bite, and suddenly you understand why Italians take food so seriously. Best of all, lunch costs just €9. Add a bottle of still water for around €1.50. Total, about €10.50. Not much more than a fast food meal in many cities. Carbonara, €9. Water, €1.50. Lunch, total, €10.50. Running total, €20. Here's something surprising. The most unforgettable moments in Rome often don't come with an entrance ticket. After lunch, continue on foot toward Piazza Navona. Street artists sketch portraits beneath elegant Baroque buildings. Musicians perform beside centuries-old fountains. The square feels more like an open-air theater than a tourist attraction. From there, cross the Tiber River. Take your time, don't rush. Rome rewards slow travelers. Soon you'll arrive in Trastevere, a neighborhood where ivy climbs old apartment walls, laundry hangs above narrow streets, and every corner feels like a postcard. This is where Rome breathes. You won't find giant souvenir stores. Instead, tiny bakeries, independent bookstores, family-owned cafes, and quiet piazzas where locals gather long after sunset. Sometimes the best itinerary is having no itinerary at all. Best attraction? Walking. Price? €0. But sunset is when Rome becomes something completely different. And the next stop offers one of the best panoramic views in the entire city, completely free. As the afternoon fades, climb slowly toward the Orange Garden, officially known as Giardino degli Aranci. Tour buses rarely stop here, yet from this peaceful hilltop, Rome stretches endlessly before you. Domes, bell towers, ancient rooftops glowing beneath the golden light. Locals sit quietly on benches. Couples watch the sunset. Photographers wait patiently for that perfect moment. It doesn't cost a single euro, and somehow, it becomes one of the most valuable experiences of the entire day. Just a short walk away is another hidden surprise, the famous Keyhole of Rome. Peer through it, and you'll see St. Peter's Basilica perfectly framed by a long tunnel of hedges. One tiny keyhole, one unforgettable view. It's moments like these that remind you, travel isn't about how much money you spend, it's about what you discover. Sunset, cost €0, worth everything. Before ending the day, there's one experience you shouldn't miss: gelato. But here's another local secret. Avoid the brightly colored mountains of ice cream displayed outside tourist shops. Natural gelato isn't neon blue or fluorescent green. It has softer colors, more subtle textures. That's usually a sign it's made with real ingredients. A small cone costs around €3. Choose pistachio or stracciatella. Find a quiet piazza. Sit down. Watch the city move around you. No schedule, no rush. Just Rome. Exactly as it should be experienced. Gelato, €3. Running total, €23. So, how far did €50 really take us? Airport bus, €6.50. Breakfast, €3. Lunch, €10.50. Gelato, €3. A bottle of water and a couple of small extras, around €5. That brings today's total to roughly €28. Even if you add a 24-hour public transport pass for around €7, or spend a little more on snacks or a coffee, you're still comfortably under €50. And what did that budget buy? A journey through one of the world's greatest cities, ancient landmarks, authentic Roman food, hidden neighborhoods, breathtaking viewpoints, and memories that feel priceless. Sometimes travel isn't about spending more, it's about spending smarter. Rome has a reputation for being expensive, but today proves something different. With a little planning, a willingness to walk, and the confidence to step away from the tourist crowds, you can experience the very best of this incredible city without breaking the bank. Because the real magic of Rome was never hiding inside expensive restaurants or luxury hotels. It was waiting in quiet streets, morning cafes, hidden viewpoints, and simple conversations that no guidebook could ever promise. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Hidden Horizon, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next adventure. And tell us in the comments, which city should we explore on a budget next? Until then, keep exploring, keep wandering, and remember, the world's greatest adventures don't always belong to those with the biggest budgets. Sometimes they belong to the ones willing to look a little closer.